I mean, to this day, I'm gonna keep it real. I like bad guys. I don't like no fucking corny ass nigga.
I'm gonna give you
a hard working nigga, yeah, I take him, but a corny ass nigga, no, I'm not fucking with you.
I'm gonna give you a nugget.
But I love gangster niggas.
Read up.
I'm telling you that. I love them.
Read up on dominant men, because a lot of women want that, but never knew that that's what they want.
This is Melvin Farmer with Hidden Corners, and we inviting you to like a new episode of Juice Serve Cold. And tonight's episode will be about prison incarceration and restorative justice and unifying our community and what we can do to turn these men from tax burdens to taxpayers and give awareness to those whose voices are usually silenced behind the walls that incarcerate them. So tune in tonight for an exciting episode with other guests as our hosts take you to places you've never been or thought about as we dig deep into society, into this culture that exists in the hip-hop, entertainment and world. And just tune in, man. It's going to be a wonderful show.
And welcome to the Juice Serve Cold, darlings. Yes. Today we're going to be, our topic today, we're going to be discussing about men who were sent to prison. Today we're going to hear what was on their mind, what was they going through, how was it for them to not be able to be around their family and their children, and you know, just what's going on in their minds, you know, and we also want to know, after it was all done and over with and they got out of prison, how they changed their lives around and became better people, or you know, did things for the community and got out there and you know, just giving back, you know. So again, I also want to let you guys know I have a lady here too that's also been to prison. Okay, her name is Godmother of Funk, and you guys might know her. She's Snoop Dogg's cousin.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So give her a special shout out to her as well. And she also endured some time in prison, and she's here to also share her story as well. So I'm going to start off with the guys first, though, because again, like I say, you know, I really want to know what are on their minds when they're in prison, especially when they get all that time. You know, I mean, somebody say 25, it's like, wow, you know, 25, you know, what kind of crime was that was committed? We'll find out today. I want to start off with, CEO Hot Rod. I want to start with him and just kind of give me, just let me, first of all, who were you before you even went to prison?
Who I was before I went to prison. I'm gonna say I was a good kid. I was a good kid, you know. I played football and stuff like that, you know. But I grew up in that crack era, so that would led me to prison. Like I say, probably going to prison. I was a good kid growing up in the neighborhood. Man, I didn't get no gang tattoos and stuff like that because my big homies, they didn't let me, because like I said, I was good in football. Mm-hmm. But then again, you know what led me to prison? It's like, you know, the crack era.
Right.
You know?
So you pretty much, you went to prison because you were selling crack and got busted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a question. How much time did they give you?
Well, the first time I ever got...
The first time
I ever got caught with crack, I was 18 years old right here in L.A., man. They gave me a drug diversion, man. Her name was Judge Blackwell in Division 30, so they gave me they gave me like a little drug diversion, like a little slap on the hand, you know. But my first time actually going to prison was in Reno, Nevada in 1987, 88. You know, we left Fresno, we was hustling in Fresno, and we went to Reno, Nevada. So that's the first time I went to prison. They gave me a 1 to 3 year sentence. So I did like 1 year in Carson City State Prison.
Okay, all right. And so then, you know, when you did that amount of time.
Oh, that was just a little time.
That was a little time. So what was your biggest time then that you got?
Well, I got indicted by the feds in 1991. You know, I was sentenced to 120 months. That's 10 years. I did like 6.5 years because I did a drug program. It was called the DAP program. We did that in 95. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I was able to get out, but that was the longest time I ever did. Prison time was in federal prison.
Right.
You know, like I said.
So while you was in there, you had your family, or you had your woman, or your girlfriend? Did you have a wife?
Like I told you yesterday, you know, I never had the pleasure of actually having a woman. You know, when I went to federal prison, I had a little money.
So you was in there kind of by yourself, trying to make it by yourself with nobody on the outside. to help a
Pretty
woman?
much. You know, I had my mom. You know, I had
Okay.
my mom.
You had your mom and-
I had
okay.
my mom. You know, but like I say, as far as the luxury of having a woman, you know, I didn't have that. You know, maybe the big homie can speak on that when he speak.
So how did you make it through without, you know, just with just your mom? How did you make it through there? You know, get through the time, because I know you guys be needing stuff in a package and a this and a that. You know, so I want to know how did you make it through? Was people sending you packages? Was, you know, where was your mind at?
Okay, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like you said, your show you keep it
100.
real.
Hold on. Before we go any further, this show is called The Juice Serve Code. All right.
Like I said, you know, I had my mom. We was able to get packages in federal prison, stuff like that. But I was good at writing letters.
Okay.
So, you know, my bunkie come in, you know, we'd exchange pictures. I'd be like, man, let me holler at her. So, you know, I read a few letters. You know, I had a few friends, you know, but I actually didn't have no woman. Like I said, I had a few lady friends in there that used to send me stuff like that.
Right.
But, you know, being in prison without support is you know, can get to you. You know, get to you mentally and, you know, a lot of ways. You know, like I say, if I didn't have my mom and some good homeboys, you know, like my brother right here, man, that, you know, actually looking out for me. Because if you don't have nobody on the streets looking out for you, that can be a tough place.
That's right. You're right about
Amen.
that. I mean,
Real
I
talk.
hear you now. Well, guess what? I want, you know, this is a CEO Hot Rod story, but I'm about to go over here and I'm about to ask Mr. Melvin Farmer. I want to know, because he did a little more time.
Yes.
He spent a good amount of time in there. How long did you spend in there?
Starting at the age of 14, when I joined the Crips when they first come out.
Talk real loud for us.
At the end of the day, I ended up doing about 33 years in Florida incarceration.
33 years in prison.
Yes, ma'am. But, let me say something about a man's pride and a mother's love.
Okay.
The only thing stronger than a man's pride is a mother's love.
Yes, sir.
I've had 2 life sentences to which man has sentenced me to life, not including assassinations attempts by every race in America because of the color of my skin. But when I was sitting up there, and I've never read the Bible, not one page, but I didn't lose faith.
Right.
So when I got up in there, I went to the Lord because man had took my life, but God gave me a new life. So
All right. Y'all hear that? Say that for Greg. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that part right there. Say that for me one more time, please.
I don't even remember what I said. I go off
He
the
said,
end.
I remember. He said, man took your life, but God gave it
man
back to
took
you.
my life and God gave it
Man
back.
took his life, but
Amen.
God gave him another
Amen.
life.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
But now with when it comes to having what we call a runner, that's a girl or something running. Starting at the age of 15, and by the time I was 18, I had over 40 arrests because we gang banging now. We took in all them. We acted. I always had like a girlfriend or something that's coming from the juvenile because I was raised in the state.
You said you was gang banging with Tookie.
Yeah.
Where was that from?
1971. I was 14.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
About 16, 15 and a half, I had started the Gangster Crips, which is 8th grade gangster, Monster, Cody, and all that. That was by the age of probably 15 and a half to this day. And so when I was a juvenile, you had your girlfriends and stuff come up there. We never had a problem. You know, it's probably almost as a juvenile to where being in juvenile and so much camaraderie, you was getting away from the abuse at home, sleeping in beds with your brothers and sisters. So it was more of a different thing, particularly during the 70s, early 70s to 75 when they changed the juvenile justice system and made the juvenile fitness hearing to where they would be tried as adults at the age of 16 and 17.
Okay.
So prior to that, we were allowed to be rehabilitated to where we could be arrested 40 times between the 4-year period, as opposed to now one strike you out and all this. So the laws was different. Now when we started going to prison, where I was in Soledad and a new awakening where I'm running in to where we've been gang banging on the streets. Now we meeting up with Geronimo Pratt, Jesse Jack, George Jackson, the Soledad brothers, the BDF, the Mexican Mob, the ABs, and the gang don't change. So now we in prison and the gang don't change. But when it comes to the relationships are near, you had family visits.
Yes.
So now a lot of men will not only get, I call it a double sentence. You get sentenced for the prison, then you get married, you get a visit. All at once. So you get all that at once.
All that in prison.
Yeah, so now we starting to go to prison to where we got to hustle. See, we didn't care because you got cheap labor to where you could go get a job making 25, 30 cents a day. And y'all tune in my book, wrote in 1998, Predicting Mass Incarceration, called The New Slave Ship, a ship that does not sail. I wrote that in 98 and it's still relevant.
All right. Well, you know what? That's good. And everybody, y'all hear that? So say it one more time so they can hear you real clear. Where they can get the book at?
Oh, it's on all the social media, Barnes and Nobles, every major outlet that have bookstores.
And what's the name of it again?
The New Slave Ship.
The New Slave Ship. All right.
A ship that doesn't sail.
All right, The Ship That Doesn't Sail. You guys make sure you get that book. Sounds going to be a very interesting book. Make sure you get it. All right. I want to keep it moving and go because I want to be able to hear from everybody here. You know, I have another guest with me here. His name is 2G Millie. And he's also been incarcerated and got some time. How long was you in prison?
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
What did you go to prison for?
Aggravated assault with deadly weapon.
Aggravated assault.
Bodily injury. Basically a shot.
245.
Yeah,
Okay.
245 PC.
PC 245.
PC
245. That's what it's called.
I know my law.
Yeah.
I'm going to school to be a
I know
lawyer.
the exact penal code and all of that.
PC.
It's 245 PC.
I
I
heard it
know.
today. They're telling you what it is.
Violence is 245.
All right. Okay.
245 PC.
Okay, well, I want to hear your story. So tell me, first of all, I want to know, just real quick, who was Millie before you went to jail?
I mean, to be honest with you, everybody knew me as D-Lock. You know what I'm saying? I was I'm coming out, Slauson, Crenshaw area, but I originally born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and on west side of 7 Mile, and it's predominantly like in my age group was coming up, it was predominantly like gangbang culture.
Right. Everybody need that time to sit down and think. And I think that when men go to prison, you sit down and you have that time to think, and that's when you start seeing all the things that you should have did, could have did, would have did, and then you want to change your life. And because people always say when men go to jail, why is it they always want to get into Jesus when they go to jail? Why do it got to take for them to go to jail? Well, I think, like I said, it takes. Go ahead. I'll let you answer that.
I want to just answer that. It's like this. Us as being African American black people, we was raised in the church.
Hey.
We was raised in the church. We stray away from the church when we get 13, 14, start gang banging and selling drugs. But then when you get inside that wall, it's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. Doesn't nothing change. You get up, go to child hall.
Mom said, it snapped back to you.
Yes, everything your grandmama said, it comes back to
Yeah, you
you.
start thinking about all those things. Exactly. Well, you know what? Let me say this. Now, we all know men go to jail and certain things, and we talk about that, and that's a common thing to know men go. But when we speaking about a woman going to jail, it's like, what? So I have a lady here with me today. Her name is Godmother Funk, and she's been to prison. And I just want to ask you, how long have you been in prison?
Well, I got lucky.
Okay.
I got lucky. My dad had some money, so did a couple of things. I was looking at 32 years, you guys, in prison. Thank you, Lord. I only got a year.
Wow.
Thank you, Jesus.
You got a lot of money.
Thank God.
Thank you.
You have-
Thank you, Jesus. And I grew up. To tell you a little bit of story. I grew up. I'm from Denver Lanes. I grew up. I've always been a hustler. Always loved to talk to bad boys. That's probably my problem now. Love bad boys. So I ended up marrying my enemy, a Hoover.
Whoa.
This is the juice is called. Ended up marrying.
Keep the cameras going, please.
Marrying him, which he was a bad guy. He went to prison, and we women, we do a lot for y'all men. I'm not saying nothing wrong, but I was a runner. I was the one taking care of my man. I was 100% dedicated to my man. He went to prison. When he went to prison, I was in love with him, so I'll do anything. He hooked up with the 118th Street, so they said they needed a runner to bring some heroin in.
Right.
So they was paying me big money, big money. And at first, I've never been in trouble, none of my life, until I met this guy. So I said, hey, fuck it, that's my man. I got to be down with my man. I love him, so I'm going to do whatever the fuck I got to do to make sure he got what the fuck he need. And I'm keeping it real. So I took heroin into a prison ground. I used to put it in my mouth in a balloon. Y'all know about that. Kiss him, and he took it. We got, I'm not going to say the name, but we got connected with one of the prison guys, one of the prison men in there that worked there. So the family visit guy, I'm not going to say his name. So he used to allow me to bring it in. He already knew. So one day I don't know, I was doing it for like 8-9 years, and I used to roll up there with all types of bomb ass cars. That's what you can't fucking do.
Yeah, you
because they'll start looking at you, and they
much.
was building a case on me all this time. I did not know it. So one day they said, we're gonna give you $10,000. We're gonna give you $10,000 up front. You bring the shit in, we're gonna give you another 20. I'm like, fuck it, 10,000, 20, that's 30,000 in one day. I'ma take it. But something kept saying, you gonna go to jail. You gonna fuck around and go to jail. I had my daughter with me the same day I got busted. Okay? Cause I'm doing this for my man that I love. I didn't give a fuck what nobody said. I'm gonna take this shit in. Was taking it in. All of a sudden, the lady came to me, she said, go back. I got the heroin from the girl from the 118th Street. I told him I felt some kind of funny business because I just felt something that day was not going to be right. So I took the shit in. She fucked around and told on me. She told the guard that I was bringing in the heroin. I got the heroin from her. Okay? She told the guard. So that day when I went in with my daughter, the lady, I saw the lady at the police officer at the gate. You know how you come in for your visit? She was on there, and I kept saying, she on that motherfucking thing too long. So I kept telling my dude, I said, something not right about this. Nah, baby, come on, we gonna do it. You know how y'all niggas the money. So me as a woman, fuck that shit, baby. Fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I go in. As soon as I go in, y'all, the guard come to me. She said, the same bitch that I got the heroin from. I kept saying, where do I know this lady from? I just couldn't picture it. She said, I know you got that shit. I gave it to you. I said, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. I ain't never seen you in my life. This is what She said, you got 5 minutes to give me that golf ball, because I had the golf ball of heroin. She said, I'm going to take your baby. You're going to lose your baby. So I got to think about it. My first time, I'm scared as fuck. And if I get teary-eyed, it's because I can remember the day so vividly. And I did all of this for this nigga, okay? So I go in and I was like, should I give it or what? So I gave it. Cause I didn't want them to take my daughters. Lucky I rolled with this lady. She took my daughter home. They said, you been arrested. So my dude knew something was wrong because I didn't go in to see him. So the ladies told him, your girl got arrested, whoop, whoop, whoop. They got all this shit, so I'm scared. I ain't never been to jail. They take me in there. The judge telling me, you looking at 32 years. He said, you knew what you was doing. I never told on my dude. I never snitched. I said, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. That girl from 118th Street, she told me to bring this shit in. I was just, I had to get it off of him. I'm never a snitch. So at the end of the day, I get busted. I go in front of the judge. So verily, he said, I'm going to run your record. If you stole a piece of bubble gum, I'm going to give you 32 years in Palmdale. Y'all know. His name was Judge. But let me tell you, all of this came out to a blessing. His name was Judge Alden, okay? So I go before him. He said, I'm going to save the best for last. He took, everybody was going home. I'm like, ooh, all these people's doing shit worse than me. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go home. He said, He said, you turn yourself back in on July the 6th. You have to come back and turn yourself. He said, if you're not, I'll put a bench warrant on you. So I go, I turn myself in. He said, I looked at your whole history. You got all these good characteristics letters. You going to school to be a judge, a lawyer. Why did you take this in for this man? Sir, I didn't take it in for the man. That girl told me to bring it in. I never snitched on my dude, period. You don't do that shit. You get so I got
Snitches
caught.
get stitches.
Okay, caught. So he said, "I'm gonna give you 32 years." He said, "I'm gonna give you 32 years if I go run your record." He went back and saw that I didn't do anything. So I heard it. I called my dad. I got a good ass lawyer. To make a long story short, I got out. Okay, the same judge that put me in there, I work for him today. I'm going to school to be a lawyer.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I thank God. I didn't know what none of this was about, but I just felt that this was a learning process.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be funny, man, but we women, we love so much. We'll do anything for y'all. After I did all this shit today, that motherfucker left me. He got out. He went to another bitch. He left me. I was the one down. I did everything for him. I'm a felon now. I had to expunge my own record. To this day, he don't talk to me. He don't say shit to me. And I did all this for that nigga. So I fucked around. I got another dude I'm messing with. He was in jail. I had to let him go. Because it was the same shit making me these fake promises. And I'm not saying all men that are in jail are like that. Right. But us as women, y'all need to respect. We do a lot. Is y'all gonna stand in that line for us? Is y'all gonna give us commissary? Is y'all gonna bring that shit in your mouth? Y'all not gonna do none of that shit that we do.
No.
Just hold up. That we do. That we do. That we do.
But we saying the majority, a lot of y'all will not be there. A woman go to jail, y'all don't be there for us.
I did it
for y'all. Y'all would be there like that for us.
Dudes have to go through the experience though.
One of the problems a lot of men. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
One of the main reasons a lot of men don't go see him is because of they legal status as far as being on probation or parole. Yep. So a lot of times men and family members, whether it be man, woman, but particularly with men and in their cities where we had these prisons that don't want to agriculture, to agribusiness with these desolate prisons where we got 33. When I started it was 13. A lot of men can't go in there to see them. So it's a different standard. Like I heard her say, this is a standard practice police do to pressure women, and why men shouldn't use women in their
That
business.
was my thing.
Because what happens is, when you let the woman in there in that game and she got children, the first thing they gonna say is, we gonna
take your kids. And that's what I had to realize.
Any woman gonna be like, the choice at that point is gonna be my kid.
Be no choice.
So I'm telling you,
I never told. I never told. I took that time for him. I took that fucking time for him.
I'm not never saying they telling, because we have a different thing about telling as opposed to being a rat.
Right.
Telling is like, oh, I see looking out the window like Gladys Travis being nosy and see somebody breaking into a car. Oh, I'm gonna call and tell the police. A rat is when you do a crime and then get out of it by telling on everybody else and giving them information that it would help in the conviction of another, although you went in together. So she don't have to say to a seasoned vet, she didn't snitch. It go without saying.
Yeah, we know you didn't
because
snitch.
that's how they go. That's part of the game.
Right.
And I, as a man, tell on me. But don't take your kid. I'm not gonna let you ride to beat to where your child.
I felt if he loved me, he shouldn't have never made me do that in the beginning. He should have let the next bitch do that. But I was being in love. I just did it.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is your Hot Rod, man. I'm at the Juice Serve Cold show. You know, just got off the stage with the big homie Melvin Farmer from Hidden Corners. We talked about prison reform and, doing prison time. And, being in prison, coming home from prison, and what we do after prison. Me personally, when I got out of federal prison, man, I was the first one in the city of Fresno, got proclamations, bringing gang members together, for a day of peace, man. I continue to work with the youth right now, along with the big homie Melvin Farmer's Hidden Corners. I'm up.